Welcome to Well Rounded. I'm your host, Tiffany Parker. What's up, guys? I have to be honest. I am in a very tired, lethargic mood. This week is just really crazy and I'm a little bit stressy and kind of just a little overwhelmed by all of the things I have to do, both for my business, for BYU, for my personal goals, for the things I need to do around the house, just all of the things, and I am not loving it. And all I want to do is I just want to be on the beach. Reading my book. I'm currently on book 7 of Throne of Glass, and I promised my friend, whose books I borrowed, that I would finish it by Thanksgiving. And this last book is like 1,000 pages, which would be fine if it wasn't starting out so horrifically slow. So, anyways, I would love to just be lounging on a beach where it's warm. It's also really, really cold. I was running late for work this morning and didn't realize it was going to be that cold until I was already halfway down the stairs. And so I got home and from work to do my other job and teach some lessons, and I immediately put on all sweats. I'm like super close to turning on my heat, but I don't want to yet for some reason. So anyways, I'm just in a little bit of a weird brain fog mood situation, and so I apologize. I apologize in advance. This will be another short one. It'll be our last Halloween related episode. Mine are obviously really mild. But some items of business to discuss that have been on my noggin lately. The way that the Ninja Kitchen products have me in a chokehold is probably unhealthy. Like, I am one paycheck away from buying something called the Ninja Crispy. First of all, adorable name. Adorable name. The minute I heard it, I fell in love with it. I was like, that's beautiful. Beautiful name. It's a portable air fryer, but it has like a 4-quart attachment. I know everything about this product because I want it so badly. I think I might buy it tomorrow. Hard to say, because my air fryer died and I really have been needing one, and I've been trying to eat healthy, but it's been hard because I don't like cooking chicken in anything other than an air fryer anymore, and pre-cooked chicken is always really gross and slightly undercooked, and then it hurts my tummy. So, I really need one, and I should just get the cheap one that I saw at Walmart, but I really want this Ninja Crispy though. I want it so bad, and it comes in like a single serving size, so you can like crisp it for 4 minutes and then put the lid on that it comes with. It's like, it's meal prepping dreams, okay? Because I hate meal prepping for a week. It's really hard to do. It's really hard to kind of like gauge and like measure that out enough. So anyways, I really want one. And then they just released Ninja Thirsty, and also really cute name. And it comes with their own like Dr. Pepper flavor, and it's all like zero sugar soda stuff. And like, I just have been really craving soda lately. I haven't bought soda. I haven't given in to that craving, but like, I've just been really craving it lately. But like, even the healthier sodas still aren't great. Like, the ingredients still aren't great on some of them, or they have too much of sugar content, or they're much better ingredients, but I still feel crappy for some reason. So anyways, and then I want a Ninja Creamy. I want one of those too. Don't know how much I'd actually use it. Yeah, so I don't know why the Ninja Kitchen products have such a chokehold on me. I want all of them, and I want to stay home, and I want to make things in my Ninja Kitchen. They're also like such sexy looking products. Like, if that's how you know you're an adult, is it's like you think household appliances look sexy. I don't know how to describe it, but and I've heard really good things though. It's not just like I want to be a part of the trends. Like everyone I know that has a Ninja Creami won't shut up about it. And then, you know, the Thirsty just came out, but like I went to go look at the Ninja Crispy and it was sold out already, and they launched it like a month ago. And so anyways, I don't know why these have such a chokehold on me, but I am seriously considering ordering the Ninja Crispy like tomorrow. So anyways, okay. Let's see. Oh my gosh. I'm glad I'm recording this now because I have to remind myself I have a note on my phone for all the 4 people that I want to vote for Dancing with the Stars. Last week I voted for Alona Mar and Joey something. His last name's like weird. And I totally forgot to vote for Steven Nedorozic, who's the adorable nerdy pole vaulter, and then the super duper hot Danny Amendola, who's a football player, NFL football player, and I like totally forgot, and then I watched it, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to keep them alive because I alone will keep them in this competition, obviously. You're allowed to vote 10 times, up to 10 times per couple. And so those are my 4 favorites right now. There's another girl who's really, really good. She has like some dancing training and stuff, but I don't like her as much. I want those other 4 to win because I love them so much. So anyways, I have voted for Dancing with the Stars for the first time in my life, and it's really fun, and I will single-handedly keep these people alive. So anyways, let's see. I don't know what that note on my computer is. Halloween plans. I have none. I will be working all day that day till like 11 o'clock at night. So, I also, being young and single, and Halloween is not super fun. Frankly, because people don't throw very fun Halloween parties. At least not the people I know. Otherwise, I would probably go to something like that. But I also am not a huge Halloween person anyways. If I didn't have to work, if I wasn't in tech, then I would probably be at home laying on my bed or in the bathtub reading a book. Reading book 7 of Throne of Glass. Let's see. If you want something spooky to watch though, this is not technically spooky, but it's very sobering, and it's like a little bit scary, but not in a Halloween way. I just finished watching the TV show Dopesick. Holy crap. It's not a documentary, like it's pretty fictionalized from what I Googled, but it talks about the opioid crisis and the start, and kind of tells the story of the start of OxyContin and how America and the world, well, mostly just America, because I think it's a bigger problem in America, got addicted to opioids. And like, oh my gosh, I couldn't stop watching it. Ironically, the show was addicting. But like, dang, it was really well done. It's not for those with sensitive, what am I looking for weak sensibilities. There are a decent number of F words. Sorry, mom and dad. And then there are also, you know, it's drug addiction. So there's some like needle moments and some like snuffing moments, and it's not for the faint of heart. But I'd been wanting to watch it, because there's Michael Keaton in it, and the trailer really caught my attention because I had heard that has been a problem in the last like decade or so. It's been a problem much longer than that, apparently. And I had no idea. And so anyways, it was very interesting, and it was so sad, and like the way these people just like lied to, oh man, oh, it was crazy. Yeah, so anyways, if you want something spooky but that's not like haunty but is still like holy crap scary, like whatever, watch Dopesick. It was really, really good. Like I couldn't stop watching it. But yeah, I don't have anything fun for Halloween. I'm so lame. I keep asking everyone else. They're like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Working." And they're like, "Oh." So I'm trying to live vicariously through others for Halloween. And I just hope that no one comes to my door because I won't be here. And it stresses me out when people are at my door and I'm not here because I can see it on my Ring doorbell app on my phone. And so anyways, so yeah, those are the items of business. I really want to get a Ninja Crispy. Okay, the main event, I'm going to try and keep this short because I have a crap ton of things I need to get done. And honestly, I might skip doing an episode next week. Because there's absolutely no way in Frickle Frackle that I will be able to have time to have a guest over or interview a guest or anything like that this week or next week. And I just, I love this podcast, but I'm not getting paid for it. And if I skip an episode here and there, I think it's okay. So yeah. So stay tuned. There may not be an episode because I got to focus on myself a little bit. Anyways, on to the main event. We're going to finish out Halloween season with spooky vocal advice. This is vocal advice that I have been told or that my students have come to me and have told me that they were told. And it's all just a little bit ridiculous. Spooky, 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 not based in science at all. So let's get started. I only have a few. Because these are the main ones that happen often. Okay, so in college, I was forced to, when I got into music education, I was forced to do classical voice. And that wasn't a problem because I was already classically trained at that point. I was like, it'd be good to refresh and to get that back in shape and stuff again. But I had a voice teacher who I was assigned to who blamed all of my vocal tension issues. I would come to her lesson and I'd be like, my throat feels kind of tight when I do this. And literally all she would do is blame my contemporary training. Like I told her that I was a belter. I did musical theater belting. I love rock, pop, like all that stuff. I had already explored some of the other genres by then. And she was like, "Oh, it's your contemporary training." She never fixed my tongue tension. She didn't notice I was overblowing. I made a reel about it on Instagram. It's like my highest performing reel right now. And like there are all of these issues and like and so now that I know even more than I did then, it's just so interesting to see what the actual problems were and that she had no idea how to fix them. And that is really upsetting because it created a lot of really bad habits in my classical head voice for so long that I am still actually trying to correct and fix. And so, yeah, so anytime I'd be like, "Oh, that kind of hurts," or "it feels tight," and I described to her what I was feeling, she'd be like, "That's your contemporary training." And I'm like, "Okay, but and so in my mind, I was like, "No, that's not it." Because that feeling doesn't happen when I sing contemporary stuff. It doesn't happen when I belt. It doesn't happen when I do musical theater. Like I've been doing mixed belting healthily for a very long time. Now it's even healthier than it was then, but like that is something that has always come easily to me though. And it's never felt uncomfortable. And so to blame it on my contemporary training doesn't make any logical sense because I never had that tightness or that discomfort when I was singing my belty stuff. And so anyways, that's the first one. That one's so spooky. I still think about that all the time. The real problem was that I was overblowing. So what happens is my mixed belt and my voice naturally is just kind of loud. I'm just kind of a loud person. We're kind of loud in our whole family actually. I naturally can belt pretty well. And like I've always gravitated towards that naturally. And so what happens is, for me, at least for my voice, is I feel a lot of power and I feel a lot of strength in my belt, but then I didn't necessarily feel that in my classical. And so then what happens, and a lot of people do this actually, is I would push and push, and I would actually push more air and overblow. And so what happens is that causes the vocal folds to either kind of clip together in an unnatural way, or it forces them to blow apart. And what we want is for the vocal folds to come together completely, end to end. We want them to zip together. And so it's like, it's crazy. Like current Tiffany could have fixed past Tiffany's issues better than the person with a master's degree. And this is why I always say, when people give me the like education excuse, my best teachers, minus my current teacher that I have right now, some of my best teachers have had the fewest educational qualifications. And I've had a very decent number of voice teachers who have extended education, like a master's degree, and they were not good teachers. They like barely helped me at all. Now, of course, I have had like a voice teacher with a PhD. She's on Broadway. She was a great teacher. She understood what she was talking about, but she had a BFA in musical theater, a master's in classical studies, I think, and then a doctorate in vocal performance. So it's like, if she didn't learn things about the voice by that point, then I don't know what to tell you. You know, and then my current teacher, I think, has a master's degree, and he's incredible. And the guy he works for is like one of Broadway's main vocal coaches. So so I think about that often, and she would say other stuff like that all the time, or she would like give me meaningless like advice to keep my voice healthy. Like she kept like she said on more than one occasion, go get a humidifier and breathe that at night. Like, girl, I got one like years ago. Like, I'm way ahead of you, you know? And so I think the problem with her specifically was that she is really good with, cause some of my friends really liked her and had success with her. I don't know how. But I think she was best for people who were beginners starting in college. I had already been taking voice lessons for like 11 years by that point, by like 11 or 12 years at that point. And so I was very much not new. No, it wasn't 11 or 12. Let's see. I started when I was 11. I went to college when I was 18. I didn't join the program though until I was like 21. So it was about 9 to 10, 11 years. That I'd already been taking voice lessons from a bunch of different people. I've had over a dozen voice teachers in my life. And so by that point, I was pushing that max already. So yeah, anyways, vocal advice number 1, it's not the contemporary training. She just didn't understand the physiology of the voice and was used to fixing the same issues on every single person, when that is not how the voice works. Everybody's vocal fold makeup and thyroid and arytenoid and cartilage and all that stuff is unique to them. It's like a snowflake. It's very unique to them, and there is not a one size fits all with the voice. Okay? It's not the case. And a lot of teachers fall into that trap of doing that, where they kind of just regurgitate the same thing to every single student, when this student has a very specific set of needs that are completely different from someone else's. And I've certainly fallen into that trap too. It's an easy trap to fall into, but you got to be self-aware, and you got to be continuing your education though. That's something I feel so passionate about, is science is constantly developing or learning new things. You know what I mean? Stuff that they taught back in the olden days is very different now, you know, and people evolve as well. So anyways, that was all very upsetting. Spooky vocal advice, straight to jail. Okay, number 2, this is one that I get from a lot of students. 2 and 3, I'll kind of combine them. So one of them is that belting is bad. That's something my teacher said a lot too, that teacher that I was just talking about. And that's not the case, okay? You can do anything unhealthily. I was singing classically in my head voice unhealthily. Still hurt. Still didn't feel good. My body was not liking it. So, hello. Belting is not bad. There's a difference between belting and mix belting. There are very few instances that I can think of where you want to actually, where just belting is actually what you want to do. Because belting involves just chest voice pretty much. Whereas a mixed belt, you need the head voice in there. And so that's kind of what I teach, is that your voice, especially the female voice, it's a little bit different with men, but not as different as you think. The female voice needs the head voice in it. And so when you do the belty stuff up high, you have to have some head voice in there because it's going to bring a lightness to your chest voice, which it needs. And so belting is not inherently bad, and you can belt safely. You know, you don't want to bring things up too high. And then going with that, I have had so many students come to me saying that they have had voice teachers who said that singing in your chest voice is bad. And just to never sing in your chest voice ever. Holy mother freaking crap. Tell me you know nothing about the human voice without telling me you know nothing about the human voice. Oh my Lanta! Terrible. First of all, we speak in our chest voice. So, and most of us don't, myself included, don't actually speak healthily in our chest voice. But that doesn't mean it's inherently evil and it's inherently bad. We can all speak in a healthier placement. We can all sing in a healthier placement. So anyways, that when they say that to me, I'm just like, excuse me? Excuse me? Yeah, so spooky, all of that. You can do anything healthily. You can do anything unhealthily. You can do something healthily and overdo it, and then it becomes unhealthy. You know what I mean? So like there are Broadway singers, professional singers who get nodes even though their technique is impeccable. Like the voice needs a break and the body needs a break. You know what I mean? So anyways, spooky vocal advice. I need to fix everyone's problems. That's all there is to it. Send your children to me to take voice lessons because this is unacceptable. Okay. Last but not least, this is one that I've run into a lot just this year alone. So I've had a couple students talk about how when they were taught how to breathe, because in singing you have to think about how you breathe, because it's very specific and you have to give it more, you have to give it less, blah, blah, blah. Oh, excuse me, I'm so burpy today. Depending on what you're doing and what you're trying to achieve. And so I have had three or four different students struggle with this problem. And so what they said to me is that the stomach should push out as you're producing sound. And like literally in the last 6 months, I've had students who have had 4 students who have had a problem with that. And here's why it doesn't make sense. So when you breathe in, your lungs expand, right? They fill with air. They're like little balloons. They fill with air, and then you also kind of feel your stomach expand a little bit by association. And so obviously your breathing does not come from your stomach, but the lungs can't really pressurize air on their own. They kind of just inflate and deflate. And so we talk about in singing a lot engaging your core. Well, I say engaging your core. A lot of teachers say focus on your diaphragm. That doesn't make sense. You don't have control over your diaphragm. Your diaphragm happens independent of anything you do. And so, so I tell my students to engage their core and to squeeze their core so that the air can be pressurized, because sorry, I'm getting texts now from someone who did not have their phone on. And so what happens is when you breathe in, your stomach expands, your lungs expand, and then as you produce the air, your vocal folds, your epiglottis drops when you breathe, your vocal folds separate, and then when you start to sing, speak, whatever, they come together and the epiglottis, say that 5 times fast, epiglottis closes and then they start to move. And so what happens is, as you're singing higher notes, all of the stuff inside, all of the things on this poster back here actually, are twisting, rotating, tilting, depending on what you're doing, and they're causing the vocal folds to thin, and they're causing the vocal folds to stretch and thin, and then they're moving. And so when they're thinner, they're moving a little bit faster. And so the air speed has to match the airspeed that you're pushing through your vocal folds, needs to be the same level of speed as your vocal folds are moving. So your breath speed and your vocal fold speed need to match. Otherwise, that's where you get the dreaded voice crack, or that's where you can get some tension. Or if you're overblowing, that's where you can get some tension, where your vocal folds aren't closing, but they're trying to. And so it's really interesting. I've had these students who, while they're singing, they are physically pushing their stomach out with just their stomach muscles. And then they're struggling to hit these notes, and they're struggling to do all this stuff. And I was like, who on earth told you that? Because it sure as heck was not me. I try to explain to people, especially with breath, because it's kind of a tricky thing to illustrate it. I think to explain it, I think you have to kind of feel it. So I usually explain what I feel and what I've noticed, and what usually helps everyone else. And so they were actively pushing their stomach out because they were told to. And to be fair, there is a kind of external pressure that you feel, but your stomach is what is pressurizing the air to match the speed at which your vocal folds are moving. And so and so we have spent weeks. One student did that on his own, and I was like, dude, this is not what I taught you. And then the other ones were taught by someone else. And it's crazy. It's crazy. Stop the madness. And so I was like, unless there's something that happened in the classical days that I don't know about or I haven't studied about, that makes zero sense in my mind from a physiological level, because the air is pushing out through the vocal folds, and the internal ab muscles, unfortunately, singing will not give you a 6-pack. Otherwise, I would have like a 12-pack by now, let me tell you. But the internal ab muscles are helping pressurize and push that air out at a speed faster than what you need to talk, you know? And so, anyways, that killed me. And so we spent several weeks, and then the minute we fixed it, boom, locked in. Boom, could hit the notes with relative ease. They still had some other tension issues. But like that fixed so many things, and they're like, that makes a lot more sense and it feels a lot better. And then when you breathe, your stomach kind of drops almost. And you feel your muscles just kind of all relax and stuff. So when you see me performing and things, or see my videos on Instagram, you'll see me I usually sing songs that have money notes on them, in them, because that's my specialty. And that's the fun stuff that all the people want anyways. And so you'll see, like, especially if it's an audition video where I have like the blue screen behind me, or like the blue background, you'll see me at the end of a money note take a breath, or like take a kind of afterwards. And that's because or an inhale. I'll take an inhale breath. That's because my abs were squeezing for that whole money note. And then now that the note is done and I've ended, then I can like take a relaxing breath again. And my stomach relaxes, while I'm, breathing and stuff, breathing in again and stuff like that. So anyways, oh my goodness, the spooky vocal advice that I've run into. I'm sure there's more I could find or think of if I had the time, but these are ones that just came to my mind immediately, and they're all prison time. All of them. Jail, straight to jail. So if you ever get vocal advice from someone who has never taken a minute of vocal pedagogy in their lives, or a tip, if you hear someone talk about the diaphragm in their terminology, walk away. You don't need to call them out, just walk away, because that is the number one way, well, not the number one way, but that is a way you can tell that they don't know what they're talking about. The diaphragm is not what those teachers think it is. And that my BYU voice teacher used that term all the time. And I was taking vocal pedagogy at that time. I was like, that's not how that works. So anyways, yeah, if they're talking about the diaphragm, get out, run away, save yourself, take anyone with you, save lives, hide, run for cover. Okay. Like, you do not want to take voice lessons from someone who's talking about controlling your diaphragm because you don't have control over it. That's not how the body works. Straight to jail. So hopefully I've spread awareness to some of the spookies, the vocal spookies, advice that people give, because holy crap, I don't know everything. There are a lot of things I don't know. There are a lot of voice teachers who are better voice teachers than me, who are smarter than me, have more education, whatever. I am not a know-it-all, but I would never lead someone astray, and I'm constantly learning, and I'm never so prideful to just reiterate the same things to everybody. So I recognize that there are plenty of things I still have yet to learn, or I could do better, or things like that. I'm constantly thinking about it. But I would never, ever, ever talk about your diaphragm in voice lessons. It's completely irrelevant, okay? So there's some spooky vocal advice to avoid if you have a child or a friend or whatever that is, struggling to sing or has had voice lessons, but maybe they weren't very good voice lessons. Send them my way and we will just fix that up lickety split, because everyone deserves to master their God-given instrument. Okay, that's all I have today. I gotta go do like 18,000 other things right now. So I'm gonna go maybe turn on my heat because my toes have not known warmth all day. So I appreciate everyone's patience. I appreciate the people who listen consistently or, catch up over time. Y'all are the real ones. And there may or may not be an episode next week, but there will be one the following week when my life calms down a little bit. So love you all. Please stay safe on Halloween. Please make good choices. Please be smart. And I hope you have so much fun and you get lots of yummy goodness. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye. Remember to tune in every Wednesday for Well-Rounded Wednesday, and please leave a rating and a review.